Hi guys, this is Miss Nuba from Curiosity Lab, and today we're talking about 3-digit to 2-digit VCW using splitting for faster multiplication. So as you all know, what is VCW? It's vertically and crosswise. So for a 3-digit number, the method looks like this. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and right. So this is a 5-step method. But what happens with 2-digit VCW? With 2 digits VCW, you only have, I haven't seen that before with my older material. Just go back and see the Mental Math Academy video for 2-digit. That's a 2-digit method, which is 2-digit VCW. And it's much faster. Why? Because it has 3 steps. So now we're going to see, are there any 3-digit numbers that we can convert to 2-digit? For example, so we just minimize this. We solve some examples. I like to solve everything on the screen. So suppose that we have a number like 201 multiplied by 208. This is not close to the base of 100, so we cannot use the base method. And there's 2 ways to split this number. Either I split 30 and 1 and 30 and 8. But this number is big, so 30 is a big number. We don't want to use that. So I'm going to split the other way. 3 and 0, 1 and 3 and 0, 8. So just so everybody's clear on the screen, we have this as one number and this as one number, and we're going to use these 3 steps. Now, the second thing you must pay attention. When we're up to down in the vertical, we have 2-digit numbers. So again, the other thing to pay attention, we just write down on the side in our cloud. Everybody knows how much I love these clouds. So if I have a 2-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit, I will basically get a 2-digit. I will not get 2-digit, but that's what I'm allocating. And then I'm going to put a rectangle for it, just for me to remember that I have to put a 2-digit. When we do the crossing, I have a 2-digit multiplied by a 1-digit, which is also, I'm going to allocate a 2-digit space. So I'm going to, again, for the cross, I'm going to allocate a 2-digit space again. And then what is left here is going to go here. So let's go and see how these numbers look. Again, 8 times 1 is 8, but since we allocated a 2-digit space, we're going to put a 0, 8. When I cross it, 24 plus 3 is 27. And 3 times 3 is a 9. So what you're going to get is a 92,708. As I teach, it's just easier if you take notes. So what happens if I have a, as we will see in the next example, let's just write that down here as well. I have a 1-digit multiplied by a 1-digit. I'm going to get a space for a 1-digit, which is what we've been doing so far. When we don't split and we use it, we usually put a circle for that. So let's just add a page and see how that looks. Let's solve a few more problems. So now, when would that happen? Suppose I have a number 112 multiplied by 128. Now what happens? So I don't want to split the way I split earlier. 12 and 28, if I do a vertical, that's a very big number. So I am going to split on the left side. Sorry, I don't know why the color kept changing. So 11 and a 12. So if you actually look in detail, what you're going to get is I don't know, it's in the header. 1, 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, and a 8. So 11 and 2 and 12 and 8 are the four numbers in our vertically crosswise method for 2 digits. We're basically approaching them as a set of two-digit numbers, although we have 3-digit. But we need to allocate our digits correctly. So when we do the vertical, we can allocate only 1 digit. When we do the crosswise, we're now going into the tens and the hundreds place, so 2 digits. And then again, we're going into the 2 digits, right? So that's the first thing. You don't have to keep track of these by writing, but if you're initially learning, I would say do it because it's just easier. So let's see how the numbers play out. 8 times 2 is 16, but I can only put a 6 here since I have a circle for a 1 digit. This is 88 plus 24. Now, again, a lot of people say, I can't keep track of all these additions in my head. It's okay to keep track of it like that, okay, which is, you're going to get a 2, 11, so you're going to get 112, but we have only 2 digits there. So you're going to put a 1, 2 here and a 1 here. Again, 11 multiplied by 12 using the 11 method is 132. So we're going to put a 1, 3 here. Now this time, the 2 is going to go to the right. We're going to add them all up. We get 6, 3, 3, 4, 1. So we get 14,300. So that's important to keep track. Let's do another number. Going back to the old method now. I have 708 and 605. Again, as you can see, just to get our method right, the section of these 2 digits as 1. And when I do that, what's going to happen? You have 2 digit multiplied by 2 digits. So I'm going to put a rectangle here. And again, the cross is 2 digit by 1 digit. So again, a rectangle. And then up to down is the first remaining group, right? So 8 times 5, 40. Normally, but it's not 8 and 5, it's 0, 8, and 0. So we're allocating 2 digits. We're not going to carry the 4. We're going to actually write it here. Now, let's do the cross. 35 plus 48. Again, feel free to write that and add it if you cannot do it in your head. Yeah. So again, 8 and 5, 13. The 1 is going to get carried and you're going to get an 8. And you can, like I said, you can put the 83 here right away with no carries, which is amazing. And 7 times 6 is 42. Now, why do I put the whole 42 here? Because see, when we, look what happens. When we have, suppose 700, do the estimation multiplied by 600, you're actually going to get something close to a 42 with 1, 2, 3, 4 digits, right? So which is these 2 places. So whatever we don't bring the 2 on this side. So that's the answer. Let's write it with commas. 428,340. I will do one more problem of the other kind so that we got, enough practice in this session. Let's do one more. Again, splitting the other way. Suppose I have 135 multiplied by 116. Now what happens? So two-way splitting, right? So we don't want to split on the right again because I'm gonna get 35 and 16. Gives me no advantage to do a shorter multiplication in that case. So I'm gonna split 13 and 5 and 11 and 6. All right. In that case, what happens? Sorry. Getting my thick pen back for some reason. Now, on this side, you're gonna get just one digit. Okay. For the cross, you're going to get a two-digit number. Again, you get a two-digit number. Yes. So 6 times 5 is 30. The 0 goes here, the 3 goes. When we cross it, again, either you need to know the table of 13, or for the younger kids who do not know the table of 13, you can do digit-wise and do 13 times 6. Yes, 13 times 6 is 78, but you can do 6 times 3 is 18 and 8, and 1 is getting carried over. 6 times 1, 6, and 1, 7, 78. Or you can do it from the tables. Plus 55. So how much is that? 133, that's good. I'm sorry, 133. What did I write? 143. Yeah, so what happens here? We have a two-digit number. So we're going to put 3 here, 3 here, and the 1 goes to the left side. That's very important to note. Again, what's the last step of the vertical? It's 13 times 11. And from the 11 method, we know 13 times 11 is 123, right? So 123, 143. 4 goes here, and the 3 goes to the other side, because guess what happens here? If I multiply 13 by 11, I'm going to get 143 something. And 2 zeros, right? So that's important to note, okay? That you would get 2 numbers here, and so you cannot carry it over to the left side. Let's add this up. Is that in the way? So it's just the usual, right? Like 135 multiplied by 116. So 0. Eraser, sorry, I was on the eraser. 6, 6. Mhm. 6. So what I was saying earlier, see that? If I have 13, suppose I do an estimation. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Let me just clarify. Suppose I do an estimation and I do 130 minus multiplied by 110. 13 times 11 is 143. And 2 zeros. So there's only 2 zeros allowed here. So this 3 has to go to this digit. You see this? This 143 has to go to this digit. Cannot go to the other side. Yeah. So hopefully this lesson helps and you're able to pick and choose and finish your work on how to make your 3-digit numbers, some of them easier, and turn them into 2-digit vertically cross trace. Now, when would you do this? When the numbers can be split like this or like that. You know, the worksheet will, once you look at the worksheet, you will realize which way is the best way to split. All right, until later, stay curious. Bye-bye.